I've been teaching English since 2012, which is a slightly alarming thing to say out loud. And if I could go back and tell every single one of my students just one thing, it wouldn't be about the grammar. It honestly wouldn't. Because the truth is, the honest truth, fluency was never about being correct. I've watched people with near perfect grammar stand in a shop completely tongue-tied, not able to get a sentence out. And I've watched people with wobbly, messy, incomplete English have a warm, long, funny conversation with a total stranger. The difference between them was never the textbook. So today, it's not a lesson exactly. It's the honest takeaway from 13 years of teaching. Real fluency comes down to two things. And they are two things that no app and no textbook can ever sell you. Have a listen. We're sold a bit of a story about English, aren't we? There are a bunch of grammatical rules, and if you memorize enough of them, fluency will just arrive. Tidy, logical. But honestly, in 13 years, I've come to believe that that is wrong. Now, grammar is the scaffolding. It matters, of course it does. I'm not going to tell you that grammar doesn't matter, but it was never the thing standing between you and true fluency. There are two things that are. One is cultural, and the other is courage. Let me take you through them. Let's start with how fluency is cultural, not just grammatical. Here's something that trips up even advanced learners. In the UK, if you say, your work's not bad, that can be the highest of praise. If I say something's quite good, I might mean it's wonderful, but I might also mean that I didn't care for it at all. And the only way you can know is from the look on my face and the tone of my voice. We are a nation that says, I can't complain when we are feeling miserable. And we say it's a bit chilly when it is absolutely bloody freezing. None of this is in your grammar book. It can't be, because these are the unspoken rules. And fluency is largely the art of reading between the lines, of hearing what someone means underneath what they say. Think about the expression, you all right, you all right. A learner hears a genuine question about their well-being and starts to answer properly. But it isn't a question. In the UK, it's often just a hello. The correct answer to you all right is good, you all right, you all right, you all right, straight back. And on you both go with your day. If you got the grammar of that exchange flawlessly, you'd still get it completely wrong. Because often, meaning lives in the culture, not just the construction. This is the part I find endlessly fascinating. And it's what I focus on so often on this channel, because you can be technically correct and still completely misread a room. Understatement, irony, the things we say to be polite when we mean the opposite, that's the real language. And it's learnable, but you learn it through immersing yourself in real English, not by memorizing all of the grammatical rules. And here is the second thing, which I think is the truer of the two of them. In 13 years of teaching, the single thing holding back students has almost never been ability. It's been fear. The fear of sounding silly or stupid, the fear of making a mistake and having someone notice, the fear of making a fool of yourself. And there's a cultural layer to this too, because we British have this famous stiff upper lip. We are terribly anxious about doing anything wrong in public. When I lived in Italy, it was almost the opposite. People would just try gloriously, badly sometimes, but with their whole heart. And they wouldn't care if it came out wrong. They communicated beautifully, because the willingness to be imperfect is the skill. I talk about this properly in this video where I speak about what learning Italian as an adult has taught me. But here's the thing I most want you to hear, and it's really the heart of this whole channel. Your accent is not a flaw to be erased. It's not an error to be erased. Your mistakes are not failures. As the expression goes, and I'm sorry, but it is so true, perfect is the enemy of good. Perfect is the enemy of good. A mistake simply means you are brave enough to try out loud in front of other people. And trying imperfectly in front of other people, that's the entire game. There's no use avoiding mistakes because you will inevitably make them, but that is okay. You say the wrong word, you laugh, you carry on. The learners who get fluent the fastest are not the most clever in the room. They're the ones who decided that looking a little silly was a price worth paying. And it always is. Now, you might be thinking, Hannah, that sounds lovely, but courage and culture aren't things that I can revise for a test. No, but they are things that you can build a habit around. And this is the practical bit. Motivation, I'm afraid, is a bit of a liar. Motivation shows up full of promise in January, and then it quietly slips out the back door in week 3. We've all had our motivation slip away. We've all fallen off the wagon, as we say, with going to the gym, with that diet, with learning a language. That's not a flaw in you. It's not a mistake in you. That's just what motivation does. Motivation comes at a whim. It comes in waves and it never really sticks around. What works instead is attaching English to things you already do without thinking. The cultural ear. You build it by having English playing while you make your coffee, or on your walk, or while doing your washing up. While doing all the things you regularly do, you soak up how people actually speak. And the courage, you build it the only way anyone ever has. Little, often, and then more often until the big conversations arrive. And you can do it with a tutor, a partner, a friend, even an AI, if that feels safer. But the trick is building the habit, making speaking English a force of habit until one day both things are there in your language every day. You've been exposed to the culture and you have developed the courage. They are woven into your everyday and they just become second nature. Don't try to be brilliant for one heroic week where you master everything perfectly. Try to be unremarkable every single day for a whole year. That's genuinely the secret, the consistency and the continuity, making it, as I said, a habit. Motivation comes and goes, habit stays. So that's the truth. After 13 years, fluency was never really about grammar. It's about hearing what people mean and being brave enough to be imperfect while you learn to say what you mean. Everything else is just practice. If you'd like to actually work on the speaking part with someone, I do offer one-to-one lessons and there is a course on its way. You can find details below. And don't forget the free PDFs down there too, because they're there to help. Thank you for spending this time with me and hearing what I had to say. Have a wonderful day and I will see you in the next one.